Hands up if you feel like you've ever lost your spark. To see a hands up. I get it, because this was me. I started my career in a estate agency at the age of 17, and I bumbled from one job to another before I established myself in a lettings and property management company in early 2008. I worked for that company for 10 years, and I learned everything I know to this day. What I was also doing, unfortunately, was working for minimum wage, and I knew deep down that I was worth more. So I embarked on a mission. I handed in my notice, and I went to what I knew at the time was the best agent in my town. They weren't doing lettings properly at the time, so I knew that I could perhaps help them with something on that side of things. So I went and I asked them if they would give me a job. I remember it like it was yesterday. I didn't go far. I walked 3 doors down the road of Wellingborough High Street, in fact, and I sat at the director's desk and asked him if he would employ me and give me a job. Much to my disgust, he said no. He said, "No, Harriet, I don't want to employ you, but I would like to bring you on board as a director." And that is how I fell into my role as a director of my company now. I very quickly set up the business in the only way I knew how, and that is how I'd been working for the previous 10 years, for the company that had been set up for 30 years previously to that. So we just inherited and established exactly the same roles, the same procedures, the same terms of business that they had. And that's how my business ran for the next few years. I was very much a tenancy manager. I was on the tools day in, day out. I was doing the gas checks, I was doing the renewals, I was going out doing inspections. I was a tenancy manager. Then I had my first child, and this completely turned my world upside down. Any mums in the room? Yeah, I see you. It's madness, isn't it? Luckily for me, my firstborn was an absolute dream. So much so that he lulled me into a false sense of security, and I had my daughter 13 months later. She is a game changer. Anybody out there with 2 children will back me up that number 2 completely changes everything. Because I was still so involved in the business and everything that the business did relied on me, I didn't have the time that I should have had with my children. In fact, I have a photo of me sat in Kettering General Hospital on the labour ward. I was 4 centimetres dilated. There's a picture of me sat at my laptop doing the daily banking run, making sure my landlords are paid and my landlords are happy. That should have been a wake-up call for me. It wasn't. I carried on doing the same things over and over again, running my business in the only way I knew how. And as time went on and I established myself as a new mum of 2 very young children, I think they call them Irish twins, don't they, when they're born so close together. As a new mum of 2, I thought I was doing great. And then one day, I just realised that actually I couldn't carry on. What that did was unfortunately make me start to fall out of love with the business that I had known my entire adult career. So I embarked on a mission to find something that could help me change the way I am. And I stumbled across a 1-day Agent Rainmaker course, a virtual course just like this one, just for a day. And I was absolutely blown away by what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it. You can't explain it. It was just incredible. Part of that 1-day course was the offer to join on to the Agent Rainmaker Growth Programme, which is the 2 courses of the 4-day Legendary Bootcamp and the Agency Marketing Intensive course. It cost $7,000. So I did this 1-day course, and then I went to my co-directors and I said, "I'd really love to do this course." They said, "Okay, Harriet, off you go. Let's see what you can learn." So off I went. I went to Telford to the Legendary Bootcamp. And as I pulled up in the car park outside, I contemplated not going in. Through fear of the unknown, fear of what I was going to get told I was doing wrong, fear of what I was going to walk out with, if anything, after such a huge investment that I had made. Anyway, I plucked up the courage to go in because I knew that something needed to change. When I walked into the room, I was blown away over the 4 days that we were there by the agents in the room, all their success stories. Already there were established agents in there that had been with Rainmaker for quite a few years already. I could feel from them their passion, their vibe, their energy for the business that I so longed to have back. It was gone for me, but I could see it in them. So I sat very quietly at the back of the room at boot camp. I didn't involve myself, because it's the sort of person that I am, although I'm standing on stage now telling you all my story. But I sat very quietly at the back of the room, listening to everybody and watching and observing. And then Tosin came on, and he said, "You're going to break this board with your hand." And I remember saying to him quite quietly at the back of the room, "Tosin, I paid a lot of money for these nails, babe. I hope none of these are going to get broken." After he assured me that they wouldn't, we went ahead and we broke the board. And I couldn't believe it. If I could break this board, I can do anything. So over the 4 days at boot camp, everything that we learned on how to restructure our business, how we could do these additional charges, how we can earn all this extra money, I was excited. I was so excited. One of the key things that I took away from boot camp in April last year was my need for an A player. Now, I'm quite lucky, I've always had an A player by my side. I've worked with her throughout my entire career. She is my right-hand woman, and there is not a day that goes past that I couldn't be without her. But what I also needed was a second A player. But at the time, I didn't realise it. So I left boot camp, and I went and recruited a lovely lady called Nadia. Now, what Nadia has done for me and has done for my business is enable me to not worry about the emails that come in from landlords, to not worry about the maintenance items, because I know Nadia has got it. Had I not been to boot camp, it probably would have taken me a lot longer to have worked that out for myself. Or I would have just carried on doing the same things over and over again in the only way I knew how. But Nadia really is a breath of fresh air. She's brought a breath of fresh air to my office and to me, because she enables me to concentrate on the business rather than working in the business. So I left boot camp with all of these great ideas of everything that I wanted to do. And I went back to my co-directors and I said, "This is what I've learned." We sat down in a room. I was nervous. I was actually quite nervous to tell them everything, because it's mad. Who would believe that sending out one letter could earn you 90 grand? Who would believe that a simple little tweak could add 100 grand to your bottom line? Nobody would believe it. So I went back with this business plan, and we sat down in our meeting room and we talked about it all. And they laughed at me. They laughed. And I get it, because it does sound too good to be true, I guess. But I had witnessed the other agents at boot camp who were doing it, who were earning the money, who were doing the little tweaks, and who had got their passion back for their business. So after this, we talked, and part of it was that I said to them, I would like to join the ARX program. Again, I was met with a firm no. So my bubble was well and truly popped. If I thought I was low before boot camp, I was extremely low now. I remember going home and saying to my husband, I feel like I want to jack it all in. I'm just going to walk away. I've got no love for the business anymore. I don't know where I go from here. Now, luckily for me, my husband is quite a sensible guy. Also, probably knowing my love for online shopping and all those things. Who loves a bit of online shopping? My husband, very sensible man, told me to bide my time and wait because he knew that if I did, that good things would come. I think what he means is I always get what I want somewhere down the line, one way or another. So over the next few months, we did a few little tweaks that I'd learnt at boot camp, and I brought in Nadia, and we did some restructuring and so on and so forth. But I was still desperate to be part of the ARX program because I wanted that support, that guidance, all of that. And actually, I remember at boot camp for me was quite an emotional time because I was trying to rediscover my love for lettings. And I remember on this one specific day, I was standing in the queue for lunch and Dawn was stood next to me and I was probably crying. I'm emotional, I'm a woman, I have 2 young children, this is what we do, we cry all the time, I do anyway. Dawn said to me, "It's okay if you fall. Just make sure that when you rise as the whole damn fire." And those words have stuck with me. And they stuck with me throughout the whole of 2023. When I was doing my battles, I knew that those words had to mean something. So I embarked on a mission to get my co-directors to ARX Live 2023. They weren't listening to it from me, so I needed them to hear it from the horse's mouth. So off we went. By some miracle, I got them there. And I remember driving down, and I'd got Nadia in the car at the time, and I was saying, look, this is make or break for me, really. This is what is going to either turn our lettings agency around and make it great and install our passion again, or if this doesn't happen, then we go back to square one. So off we went to Agent Rainmaker Live, and I remember entering the room on day one. It was like an Ibiza nightclub at 9 o'clock in the morning. There were flashing lights, the music was pounding, everybody was up and dancing. Even I was dancing. I don't dance. I don't even talk. I sit in the room quietly at the back. My co-directors were dancing. All of us were up and dancing. The energy in the room that we felt that day was like nothing I've ever experienced before. We learned so much over the next 2 days, and by the end of day 2, it was actually lunchtime on day 2, I was sat there, I was eating some tuna randomly. Why I remember this, I don't know. Some tuna and some salad. I had a fruit salad for my pudding, amazing fruit salad. You get such good food at these events, guys. If you're going for anything, just go for the food because it is absolutely amazing. So we were sat there eating our lunch on day 2. And one of my co-directors just casually slipped the form to sign up to ARX Mastery in front of me. ARX membership, sorry. This is ARX Mastery. And I couldn't believe it. I actually could not believe it. By taking them to ARX Live, they had seen what I had seen. They had felt what I had felt. And they knew how much this meant to me. So we filled in the little box, and we filled in our bank details to sign up to ARX. That was in November 2023. Between bootcamp and ARX in November, I made one change to my company, and that was that I did a small fee increase, a marginal fee increase. It wasn't anything big. We had no kickback from landlords whatsoever. It was absolutely fine. So effectively, from November 2023 until now, the changes that we have made have been absolutely phenomenal for our business. I have restructured my staff, so I now have a business development manager, Bex. She's lovely. She should be on this call somewhere. Hey, Bex. Bex is responsible for all of our incoming leads. She responds to all of those for us off the back of our funnels that we've got set up. And she deals with all new business. If you'd have said to me a year ago, in a year's time, Harriet, you're going to have a business development manager, I'd have laughed in your face and walked out the room. I wouldn't have believed it. But this is what it's all about. Restructuring your business to make your business work in the best way it possibly can for you. So since then, we've added the funnels, we've restructured the business, and our figure now sits at £311,000 additional revenue since joining ARX. On top of that, it was confirmed by our accountant last week that we have hit 53% profitability. That's just huge. That meant such a lot to me, hitting 53% profitability. It's absolutely fantastic. So when we joined ARX, I remember we were at live, and I'd popped outside to ring my husband to tell him I had a cheeky cigarette, celebratory cigarette. Let's call it a celebratory cigarette. I only have them on very special occasions. I rang my husband and I said, they've agreed. They've agreed to me joining ARX. And his response was, are you smoking? I said, well, I am, but that's not the point. I'm ringing to tell you that they've agreed for me to join ARX. And what that did for me was that showed me their belief in me. And actually, what I know now that I didn't know at the time was that they had belief in me 7 years ago when this company was started. I just didn't have that belief in myself. What ARX does for you, so much. They're your biggest cheerleaders. They're your biggest fans. They're your biggest support. They are there through the highs and the lows. And believe me, in this short space of time, I have had both. Some amazing highs and also some crazy lows as well. Because it's not all plain sailing. We're letting agents. Nothing is ever plain sailing. But what Agent Rainmaker can do for you and for your business, I thought I knew it all. I'm an ALA agent. Hands up here if anybody is an ALA agent. Been to ALA courses, done all the online, gone to Westminster, done this, done that, done the other. Me too. I thought I knew everything because I'd done all of this. How wrong was I? How wrong was I? ALA are great at teaching you the compliance. They're great at teaching you how to manage tenancies. What I needed to learn, and what I have learned, is how to be the director of my company and how to be the sort of person that my company needs me to be. I didn't know that properly until I joined ARX, until I went on the boot camp. I won't talk to you too much about marketing intensive because I'll be completely honest, guys, it's not my bag at all. I don't understand funnels. I love funnels because they give me so many leads. I don't understand them, but I don't have to understand them because I have a great marketing team behind me. They know everything that I don't need to know. So they just send me the funnels and I'm happy going through the system and it's fine. So get your support system in place. Get your structure sorted. For now, where we are is far more ahead than I had ever anticipated us to be. Did I expect to be standing on this stage today? No, I did not. Do I want to be standing on this stage today? Absolutely. And if my story can help just one of you make that little decision that you need to make a change, you need some more help, you need some more guidance, you need some more support, then I would be over the moon. Because without the help of ARX, I wouldn't be standing here today. My business wouldn't be £311,000 better off. My business wouldn't be at 53% profitability. And I probably would have left the industry. Because that's what lettings does. Lettings grinds you down until you feel like there is nothing left. Because nobody's ever happy with us. We're letting agents. They're either shouting at us because we haven't repaired their toilet, or they're shouting at us because their tenant hasn't paid their rent. You need to bring that back yourself. You need to find the passion, find the energy, and bring that back yourself. And you will get there. I didn't think I would, but you will get there. So, my final message to you today is, if you fall, don't worry. Don't panic. Just make sure that when you rise, You rise as the whole damn fire. Thank you very much.